All right, Dan Wiffen, mate, Olympic champ. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good, mate. Where are you coming from?
Well, I'm currently in Ireland. Been here for like 2 weeks, and then I'm leaving soon to go on holiday. So looking forward to that.
Mate, congrats. Well, listen, Irish Olympic champion. They must be loving you back home right now.
Yeah, I know. It's very few people can say that in Ireland, so
Mhm.
it's pretty cool. And I mean, I walk down the street and everybody wants a selfie, or like I get a lot of free stuff just walking into like restaurants. People pay for my dinner and stuff like that. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Superstar Dan Wiffen, mate. That's awesome. Hope that lasts for a while, hey? That'd be cool.
Yeah, it would be. We'll see.
Now, listen. What's the effect for you just personally? Like, how has this impacted your life beyond that? Like, is this everything you had dreamed it would be?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, well, I think I've been doing this for so long that I kind of it didn't really come to a surprise when I did it. But in terms of like the after effect of it all, I mean, it's pretty cool. Different sponsors and it's like different, like coming towards you and approaching you, and then like just seeing everybody who watches the Olympics. I think is a bit crazy, especially this year. It was like definitely one of the most watched. I think 1 million people tuned in on the Irish television
Mm.
to watch me race, so that was pretty cool.
What was it like, mate? We were watching on TV too. The crowd looked spectacular. Was it as good as it looked? Did it pump you up when you're out there?
Yeah, it was definitely really loud. I think the 1500 was louder than the 800 though, because we had two French guys in the 1500, so it definitely was a lot louder for that. But yeah, it was definitely the biggest venue I've ever been in. It was crazy, the noise, and yeah, it definitely gave you goosebumps when you walked out, and it made the nerves a lot more like prominent in the race. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
Now, listen, mate, you're kind of unusual in the fact that you're not afraid to talk about your confidence or wear your confidence or express your confidence and the belief you have in yourself. And from what I've known about you, talking to other people, that's kind of just been who you are your whole life. Like you've just been that guy. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, well, to be fair, most of the time I will talk about my race. Like before the Olympics, I was saying how I wanted to get a gold medal, and I said I'm definitely going to be on the podium. And I mean, I'm happy to say that I know what work I've done, and I kind of know what my competitors do, so I know that I'm working harder. So I was just like, yeah, why not say it? Like I'm not afraid. I've done this work, and I'm not gonna not say it. And like I believed in myself, so that was the reason why I was coming out of it. But I mean, it does go wrong sometimes. I think I've got to say it's gone wrong like twice, where I said that I'm going to do something that didn't happen. But that's just sport. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, in terms of the 800 itself, did it go to plan for you? Is that how you saw it going, like coming down to, you're in the lead, the whole way. You're pacing this thing the way you want to pace it, but it comes down to a pretty tight finish at the end where you have to like get up and go, right?
Yeah, no, it didn't go the way I thought it was going to go. Honestly, thought I would be like a couple seconds quicker, well, like quite a bit faster than everybody else. That's what I thought was going to happen. But I think in the Olympic final, it's like completely different. You see it in all races, like you saw it in the 200 freestyle, where I thought Popovich was going to win by a mile, and then he like kind of backed off in the third 50, but then came through in the last 50 again. And I feel like it always different. It's not always how you're going to go in an Olympic
Mm.
final. Like I always want to go for a time, but Olympics is never about the time. It's about who gets the hand on the wall first. I would say like world championships are more about time because, as I said, there's less pressure because it's not the pinnacle of our sport.
Was there any real effect for you in terms of this talk about it being a slow pull? Did you notice any of that yourself?
Yeah, so many people are saying it, but I was actually just thinking it was it. Well, to be fair, so I do this set. I knew it wasn't slow before the meet because we do this set. I actually watched the Cam McAvoy and he podcast because
Mm.
quite friendly with him, and he was saying how he did the stand up 35, I think it
Hmm.
was, or some
Yep.
25, something, and he was saying it's one of the fastest ever. And I did we do a broken 800 in the comp pool 3 days before our like event, and mine was the fastest by 4 or 5 seconds, I think, that I'd ever done. So I was like, well, this pool's fast. But and then when the meet started, everybody was saying how it was a slow pool, but I think they was using it as an excuse. because obviously the buses were very draining. You're doing a lot of walking in the Olympic Village, and I think people were just generally more tired than they would be at a different competition. But and also there was like there was over 10 Olympic records broken as well. So I mean, it clearly wasn't slow, and a world
Yeah.
record you're free.
Yeah, yeah. Talk to me about that broken 800. How do you do that? How do you pace it? What's the rest cycles and stuff?
So we do it's different kind of every time, but the majority of the time we'll do it as a 200. So you do a dive 200, everything's to your feet, and you
Hmm.
get 10 seconds rest in between each rep. So you go 200 to feet, 4 100s to your feet, and then 450s to your feet. Is that right? Yeah. And basically, you just combine the time at the end, take off the rest or whatever, and then that's your time. So you're talking like if, well, for me, if I'm like around seven. I'd say around is it 7:20? I'd say if I'm around 7:20 long course, it's pretty good.
Damn,
Uh,
damn, 720. So what's the splits on that? So the first 200 your feet, what'd you hit at, you think?
150 point high, 51
150
low,
point high. Okay. And then you go into your 4 100s. Is that
100.
what you said?
Yeah, so you're looking, I think 56 mids to lows. I go around that
On
55
10 rest
highs
on that? You hitting
on 10
55s
rest.
on
Yeah,
10? Wow, that's awesome. Then
yeah,
you go into
and
your 450s. What are you holding there?
27 O's, and then on the last one probably like a 25 point,
So
something like that. I'd say
you practice finishing fast like you would in a race too then?
yeah, 100%. I mean, Bobby finishes so fast, so everybody's been training the whole year to try and come back like a train. So, I mean, that's what I've been training for anyway, because I knew you got to be ready for anything at the Olympics, and I'm not going to be that guy that has a weak finish just because and not work on it. So I made sure this season that I really worked on it, trying to go 24 points to my feet and stuff like that at the end of sets, or 23
Wow,
points if I'm lucky. But yeah, I'll race
wow.
up all the time with everybody. We always do the same sets. So we'll do like race pace sessions where we go load of 50s, like 400, 200 race pace. And then on the last one, we always go max head, like a stand up beside each other. I mean, like some of us, like I'd say, like, to be fair, Lucas is pretty good on the race pace. He's my training partner. He would hold 24 points to his feet easily for like a load of them, like 8 in a row. But I'd say that there's a couple of we got freshers because I'm obviously at university, so first years coming in. One of the guys went to what he go 23-2 to his feet at the end of a set, like at the
Wow.
end of a good 1500-meter work of race pace. So
Oh,
we do
long
practice a
course?
lot of speed.
He's pushing
Yeah,
23s like that?
yeah,
Jeez.
yeah, in training suits.
Wow, that is fast.
Yeah, like
Jeez, I mean
we train a lot of speed to be fair, and we do short speed sessions as well. So we're not just doing distance all the time. We do like dives and fast turns and dead start stuff, like a lot of 15-meter maxes or 25-meter maxes off with fins. So we
and
do
and the
quite a bit.
reason why you guys are doing that obviously is not just for the turn of pace necessarily, but the whole race itself is getting faster. You've got to hold faster paces all around, don't you?
Yeah, so I mean, and you need to have a good start to be able to be in the race, obviously, and then in the middle, that's where you like practice. You'll be doing your like longer reps, as well. I guess the middle will be replicating where you're holding fast 50 splits and hundreds, and then the end, it's already about like trying to change the gears up, and that's what you practice with our short speed sessions where we try to change the gears and try spin your arms a bit more and kick your legs a bit.
How many? What's the difference between the type of longer distance work you would do as opposed to the speed type work? How many sessions a week are you doing?
We do 10 sessions a week.
10 swim. Okay, so out of those 10, what's the breakdown in terms of like good distance work and good speed work? You think?
So we do well. So I'd say I have to go through them because I don't actually. So on like a Monday morning, it would be light aerobic. So it would be longer reps.
Hmm.
I count longer reps as above 100. I guess I would say above 150s are longer reps.
Yep.
Then we do like Monday night would be a heart rate based session or a threshold. So that would be hundreds probably on a Monday night. Then Tuesday mornings are pull sets, so they're quite gruesome. You do like 300s on 3 minutes or something like that. And then Tuesday night would be our IM speed set. So we would go like I think our coach Andy likes to change up from doing freestyle. So we do IM. And like I'm shocking at breaststroke, so it's quite slow. We do like IM sets, and then we do speed, where we do like power towers, dives to 15 or 25, or we'd probably do about 45 minutes in the session of just speed work. And then we'd also do, on a Monday morning, sorry, we also do light speed, but not as much, only like probably 9 reps in total of like
Hmm.
15 pushes, because that's just to wake yourself up for the week. So we do
Mm.
very short speed twice a week. And then we do 1 race pace session a week, and all the rest is basically aerobic or heart rate threshold sessions.
Right, right. What's your favorite race pace session that you like to do? What's one that gets you confidence?
I'm not a big fan of race pace because I feel like they're the hardest to win. It's always quite close. Because no one can dominate the distance like aerobic and threshold sessions. But
Mm.
me and Lucas like to go head to head. To be fair, I think he beats me a lot all the time, which I'm happy to admit. But we do like we did a crazy one in Turkey there in May in June. Sorry, we do it like I need to remember these off the top of my head. But it's like we do a lot of stuff like we go like say I think it's 850s just all on at 400 pace, and then we go like 100 easy, and then like 250s at 200 pace, and then like 100 easy, and then we go 100 where we go a it goes 50 at 400 pace that you were going before, and then a 50 faster, and then you do that 3 times and it descends throughout the
Mm.
rounds. They're pretty cool. And then like you try, I mean, at the end, you probably Lucas would probably finish on 50 point. I'd be lucky to finish 52, I reckon. So something like that.
So there's other people that can hang race pace wise, but you think like aerobically you can smoke people then?
Yeah, definitely people can hang race pace wise, because I mean Lucas is a 400, 200 freestyler. I'm the higher end of that, but I mean we're still pretty close. I would say my 400 is not too slow, and then I've never really done a 200 free, so I
Mm.
wouldn't know. But yeah, they're the sessions that I reckon are the hardest to win. Normally by the end of the session we count up how many reps we've beaten each other in, and then we figure out who's won. That's how normally it works out in those sessions, but. In terms of distance sessions, yeah, I feel like I probably dominate the majority of them. I don't think anybody really. I would like to say anybody in the world can really hang with me, and like longer reps, like holding 500s at a certain pace and stuff like that. I would say that I'm probably one of the only people in the world that can go times that I go. And I've been told that by quite a lot of people that come in and train with us for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I was going to say that. How do you know? Like, how do you know your competition in terms of what they can do? You kind of keep your ear out for some things of people telling you what they've done in the past.
Yeah, so we've had like a lot of our swimmers in our group have trained in a lot of different places. Like Lucas has been all over. He's been in Cal, obviously, so he knows how some of the Americans train. And then um, Hector Pardo was training in France with Philippe Luca and stuff like that. So it was really like sorry, the printer's going off there. It's really like of how what they say. Sorry, we need to pause for 1 second. This is just annoying.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. What were you saying?
Sorry. So yeah, so we have different people in the squad, and we've trained with previous different coaches. So you kind of know they know what other people have held when they train with them, and people come on training camps in Loughborough for like a week or something like that to scope out if they would like to train with us. A lot of people came this season just for looking for the season after the Olympics, and they would say, well, they would say that they've never seen somebody train as fast, and I think Andy says that a lot. He doesn't tell me, and he likes to keep me grounded, so he never tells me that he thinks he's never seen somebody else do it. So he goes and tells like somebody else, and then I hear it from them. So, but yeah, I just hear a lot from other people, I think.
How do you respond to coaching? You just said Andy kind of doesn't like to tell you stuff to, get your head big or whatever it is, or make you feel overconfident. But like, what type of coach is he, and how do you respond to the type of coaching that he gives you?
Yeah, so Andy, I would say, he's quite relaxed. I reckon Andy's the best set writer in the world. And a lot of coaches have said this actually, because when I'm on training camp with Ireland or something like that, they would use Andy's sessions because Andy obviously provides them when he's not on the team. And they would say he's the best set writer they've ever seen. And I agree. We never repeat a session, never really repeat a warm up. And he always finds ways to like hide meters. So, like, with an 8K, it feels like we're doing like 5, which is amazing when you've got a coach that can have the ability to write sessions like that. But he's like, I would say he's quite relaxed. He won't like if I go really fast, he won't like be like screaming, telling everybody on poolside that oh Dan's going like this. He'll just keep it to himself, and he doesn't really show. I think he doesn't really show too much emotion when I'm training. But I did see him cry at the Olympics when I won the 800, so that was quite eventful. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
we got
worthy.
on well. Yeah, we get on quite well. Like, I remember John Rudd, Ruta Malatute's old coach, and he's now the performance director of Ireland. But he told me that as soon as you find a coach that works for you, uh, it's great because people will maybe never find that in their swimming career, and you find that bond with a coach, you've got it for the rest of your life. And if it works, it works. Don't change it. And that's exactly what I think about Andy. Like, we're the dream team.
Yeah. Well, it seems like it's working now, man. So certainly don't don't be in any rush to break that up. But what about the volume that you do? Obviously, with you know distance swimming, there's volume that comes into this thing. So what's the top end of the volume you do? What's the average middle ground where you'll sit, and then what's the low end when you taper?
Yeah, so I mean, I this might come to a surprise, but I don't think my mileage is that high for a distance swimmer. I would rarely go above 85K in the week, where and maybe the highest I would go in the season would be 90, I would say. But to be honest, anything above that, I feel like it's just a waste of time. I feel like I'm just swimming for for the sake of it. It's like there's no
Hmm.
real benefit to me going over 85K, and that's why we never really do it. And then the lowest I would go to would be like 30, 35, 37 to 37, I think is my week before a race, something like
Mm.
that. So it is quite a drop. I think I go like not to give away too much, but I don't really care. But you would go like 3 weeks before, like 70K, 60K, and then 40K. That would be rough estimates of volume. And then race week is quite small. I don't know how much it would have been. I've never totaled it up, but I reckon it'd be around the 22K mark of how much I do during the race week.
Wow. So is that something that are you still given a piece of paper and say, hey, stick to this? Or is it more like Andy will say, hey, go swim for 30, 40 minutes and I'll see you then?
He gives me so he always has a taper plan out, 3-week taper plan.
Hmm.
To be fair, I think it's getting less and less. He's starting to reduce my taper for some reason. I like a big taper, but this Olympics, I think it was like more like a 2-week kind of thing. But no, so he gives out a whole plan that has every session on it, every mileage that I should hit. And then so to be fair, I stick to it until probably a week out, and then a week out he goes like, "This is what I would like you to do, but if you feel like you need to change it up, like you want to do like a 500 meters less or something like that, happily do it. You just listen to what your body wants to do, and then we go with it. But and then he'll write all the sessions to go with it, stuff like that. So it's quite good.
Nice. What about the grind of it? I mean, it obviously would be wearing. It takes time to do this type of work, but it seems like you love it. Like it seems like every day you get up, it's like you want more of it, right?
Yeah, I think I found this the biggest part of swimming. I don't know, you've interviewed a lot of swimmers, so you would know what they say, but I think to be a great swimmer, you need to have a lot of fun. And I have fun every day. That's the reason why I like to train is because I'm going into a group of guys and women as well, but we're going like head to head every single session. Like I will
Mm.
never have an easy session if you know what I mean. Like Andy, all right, easy. Don't get me wrong, but it'll never be easy because everybody wants to race, you know what I mean? Like we have I don't know how many we have in the group now, but around 10 before. And nobody will want to lose a rep. Like even if we're doing like a recovery session, it'll be everybody just trying to beat each other. Like if you lose a rep, at the end of the day, you could lose the Olympics on losing that rep. So everybody's fighting for every single thing. And I think that's why I love it so much, is because we're continually racing. And like even like we play little games like me and Nathan, our whole life, I played this game where we go 5 in, 5 out of the wall to make sure our turns are like rapid. So I think I've been playing it ever since I was like 12 years old, where me and Nathan will count how many times we beat each other 5 in, 5 out. And then obviously it's on each other's what we say. So it's between, we have to agree with each other who won the rep. But by the end of the session, you count them up and you see who's won the most reps on turns. And we also do it on finishes. I remember me and Felix Allbeck. He's obviously a great swimmer, won NCAA's and stuff like that. But and world champs on short course. But I remember when I first joined, we joined at the same time in Loughborough, and for the first 2 years, I was just trying to catch him, and we'd always play this game where like Felix always started it, where last 5 meters it would just be head down straight arm because we wanted to win the rep. And like every time he'd take me out by surprise because he'd just put his head down, like maybe it turned 7 meters by the end of the rep just because he wanted to win. And I carry that through still today. Like I never want to lose. And then the freshers that come in are always like every year from the university, I'm like joining in on the games, so it's really good. I mean, so to be fair, a lot of them haven't been that fast because obviously we're moving on our squad because well, obviously now we've got Olympic champion and so have many other great swimmers that the freshers coming out at maybe a lower level than what it was. Maybe it was a bit closer when I joined, but they're like loving it. They're still trying to win their reps, and it makes it way more fun for everybody. I think we're creating a good team ethos that it's never given to you easy, and you got to race everything.
Well, I pressed the wrong button there. I pressed my mute. That kind of just gave me flashbacks of the 800. The way you were talking about practice there, it's almost like the way the 800 came down. You going into this straight arm and attacking the wall and trying to get your hand on the wall first. It seems like you're just practicing that every day then.
Yeah, we do. I guess we do. I was actually very grateful that Cam McAvoy said that he fought with me in his last 5 meters, but I don't know. Maybe that's to be true. He did tell me that after the race, but I mean, yeah, it's essentially just replicating it in training, I guess, and then it comes natural in the race. But to be fair, we've been playing around with a lot this season with last 50 speed because some people can go to the legs, and I would say that I'm not a very leg dominant that word. Sorry, I'm not very leg driven,
Yeah.
and so when I turn my legs up, sometimes necessarily I won't go faster. It'll just bring my hips up a bit higher. So I mean, I still bring the legs in, but I've tried now to bring my rate up really high. So I think I get to a 55 rate now, spinning my arms on the last 50, and then I can bring the 6 feet leg kick in as well. So I've been really trying different areas, and we thought that spinning the arms has really helped this season. But I think we're going to try and change it next season to bring more leg driven because spinning the arms is great, but it's not very technically efficient. And I think bringing the legs in with a normal stroke would probably be quicker on the long run. Which just this season we had to only have like half a year really to really focus on it. So we just decided that the spinning the arms would be better for this part of the season to get the last 50 speed good enough.
Yeah. I mean, it's always good to evolve and learn and keep growing. And it seems though that your competition's doing that, right? Like Bobby in the 1500, I don't know what the plan was, but it seemed like he was wanting to get out in front and he just held his legs together the whole way. It looked like he was 6 feet kicking the whole way. Were you surprised by Bobby's tactic of going out front and holding on?
Yeah, to be fair, I mean, I didn't. To be honest, I didn't really expect. I expected him to change his race plan from the 800 because he's been doing that race plan for I don't know, is that like 3 years now since he's been
Mhm.
doing the same last 50 speed because it was working. But I think he said in a load of podcasts that he said that he was the man to beat and everybody was changing how they trained to be fast on the last 50, so he couldn't really do it anymore. So then
Mm.
I thought it was a great tactical change to go out a bit faster. But I think I think it was a great race for him, obviously, but I think it was a bad race for me because uh, every time in the Olympics, I think it was obviously something to do with the pressure and stuff like that and the nerves, but I would always go out faster in the heat. And it was actually, it's really bugging me still to this day that in the heat I was actually faster than Bobby was to like 600 meters, but in the final I just decided to sit back in the
Mm.
1500, and then in the 800 I was out 347, and in the final I was out 348. It was just like I wasn't even trying in the heats. It's just like completely different at the Olympics where you just like everything just changes up in the final and you just try to do your best of what you have. And I think that day in the 1500, I don't think I was really 100%. And I think that like in terms of recovery from the 800. So I think maybe that
Mm.
played a part in it. But I mean, to be fair, it took a world record to win. So that was pretty cool to be in that race.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense then. Okay, I didn't realize about the heat because in the 800, you certainly look comfortable, leading, but in the 1500, you looked uncomfortable in trying to chase, and it was like I kept, wanting you to get that next gear and kind of. I thought you were holding back a little bit, and I thought you were going to push up on him at any second, and it just seemed like every time you took a little surge, Bobby took a surge, and Greg, and it was like just seemed like there was this cat and mouse, and you could just never get over the top of it. So kind
Yeah.
of pressing in the prelims, the heats kind of makes sense then if you just didn't have that extra gear.
Yeah, I think in distance swimming it's way easier to be be getting chased and be the chaser. I think in the middle I hold 28 nines, 28 eights, and like nobody really in the world does that. It just seems to be me that can push the pace in the middle. But it always comes at a cost that I never go out fast enough to actually be able to use it effectively. So I'm going to change up some different things next season to make sure it happens. But there was a few technical errors in terms of breathing at the first 100 that I think slowed me down. So, but now we know, and we've I've done it. I mean, it's happened to me twice now where the heats have been near enough the same time as the final. So I know what to change for next season, and I know some different things that I'm going to do to make sure I'm a lot faster. So I'm looking forward to that. But that's not for another year, so we got a long time.
Control, man. Control yourself. Control your emotions. You don't need lane four. Are you chasing lane four? Is that what you want?
At the Olympics, I was chasing lane four.
Mm.
To be fair, I was only chasing it because I've said in the 800, I wasn't really chasing it. To be fair, I just wanted to win my heat because I never want to leave it the chance where I end up
Mm.
getting knocked out to ninth place. And I mean, you
Mm.
saw how fast the distance swimming heats were. Like, it was like 800
Mhm.
was it was like 3 seconds faster than before, and 1500 was 7
Mm.
seconds faster than before to make it back. And it's like you don't want to be that guy who misses out just because he decided to take it easy. And so I was like, no, I think majority of swimmers now are going at their like PB pace until I did it until 1,000 meters in the 1500 heats, and then backed off last 500. And I think majority of people are doing that now because it's taken so much to get there. And you think that like where PB of 14:34 going plus 10 would be like easy, but it isn't. It's actually like you're still going at like a really hard race pace, and every 1500 is hard, even if you're like sacking it off at the end.
Yeah. Well, give us a snapshot into your brain a little bit as you're swimming this 800 and you're going for your first Olympic gold. What's the things that are going through your head? I mean, we're watching the race and we're trying to get in your head of like, what's he thinking? How's he feeling right now? Just maybe talk us through some key points of that race that we don't know that, we can't get in your head, but give us a little snapshot.
Yeah, so I'll talk about the walkout first. I think that was where the race starts for me, I guess, in the call room.
Mm.
I mean, I think I don't, you've been in the Olympic finals for the 50, so you know what the call rooms are like with that. But I've been in the lowest call room I would have been in would have been the 400 free short course, and they're a bit more tense. You know what I mean? For call rooms, I feel like in the lower distances are a lot more like ego and like people
Mhm.
trying to get in each other's heads. But in the
Yep.
distance corners, everybody's chatting away, like we're all talking, not really about the swimming. I think in the 800 corner, talk about the muffins in the Olympic Village. Like it's just everybody's having a general chat because we're all very good friends outside the post. So that's really it. But I mean, we're all very big competitors too, so everybody wants to win. But I like to normally have a look around, and you can really tell who's nervous in the call room, and you can tell who's like is like sweating and they're like really nervous walking out
Yeah.
for this. And I feel like they're the people who really need to probably learn to control their emotions because they're wasting so much energy just thinking about the race in the call room, and then they go out and then they're dead first 100. Where
Mm.
I personally in the call room, I chat and then I'll be thinking about what walkout I'm going to do when I walk out. So for the 800, I walked out and I wrote on my hand my name writing into the history books because I feel like this Olympics, I stopped working with a psychologist this year. And I know sports psychology is big, especially at the moment in swimming, but for me, it just wasn't right. And I feel like I know myself, like what to do, and I have a lot of confidence in myself. And some people call me delusional because some of the goals that I set myself and some of the times I want to hit in training, but I think it's just because I've got a lot of self belief. So when I walk out and I write my name in history books, that's because I know 100% in my head that I'm going to win this race. And if I told myself that if I don't have 100% belief in myself, I'm going to walk out and win this, and I don't think it'll happen because somebody else will have that belief. And that's exactly why in the 1500 I made sure I wrote my name in that book, and then the 800 wrote my name in that book, and I was ready to walk out. And then basically walk out, and then we're on the blocks, and then everybody likes to do their own thing. Some people like to take their time, taking the clothes off, and I'm just like getting them off as quickly, like not quick as possible. It's a good time, and then get ready to get on the block. And do you know what the worst thing I think about is like in finals, you know when people splash themselves before they like get onto the block? Well, I
Yeah.
always try and wet the person beside them to like try throw them off. It's like in track and field where they say they flick bits of gravel across the lane to try get the other person distracted. Well, I always feel like people are trying to do that when they're trying to splash themselves and trying to splash you. So I always make sure I stand quite far back so nobody can like splash me. So 'cause I would think like they're trying to do it. I don't know. Maybe they're not, but that's what I think. So I just get to the race and you're like we dive in and I had a good start. I know where the race is going to come from. I think you might have seen James Gibson's did a whole thing on my breathing techniques that I breathe just one direction. So on the way down, I'll breathe on my left, and the way back up, I'll breathe on my right. So before the race, I'll decide what side the race is going to be at for the win, and I'll just breathe to that direction the whole way. So I mean, it's a bit of a risk to breathe into one way, but one direction. Sorry, but
Hang on a second. Hang on a second. You pick the side you're going to breathe based on what that you think it's going to come down to at the end. Is that what you're saying?
yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
that's
So
that's crazy. So you could breathe both sides equally as effectively. Is that right?
yeah, it doesn't really matter to me. I think my rate's maybe a bit higher on my breathing to my right, but so I breathing to my right, and but I mean, in terms of times, it's pretty much the same. I go the same splits and stuff like that. But yeah,
Wow.
so I pick what side me and my coach will decide what side we think the race is going to go to, and then we'll just breathe to that direction the whole way. And the 1500, I did the same thing. I predicted breathing to the right side, right direction, and that was where the race was. I just wasn't there at the start. But in terms of the 800, we picked the left direction, and then I was bringing that way. And obviously, Elijah Winnington goes out like a rocket in the 800 freestyle because I mean it is only a new event for him this season, so he has only really been swimming it because he's obviously, I mean, a world class. I mean, he's an Olympic medalist 400 freestyler, so he's got like really good front end speed. I think he's just waiting for the time that one time he's just going to be able to hold on and break the world record, maybe. But um, he goes out so fast, and everybody knows that. So he goes out that fast, and then you just try catch him by 300, 400. And then we got him by 400, and then I kind of made a push. Maybe a lot of people didn't see that home because he decided to run an ad break in the middle of the 800 freestyle, which I think was so stupid. But when
Disrespectful.
I made a push at 400 when we just taken out Elijah, and then it kind of broke the field up where it's just me, Greg, and Bobby. And then I think Greg knows that he doesn't have that last 50 speed. He's that really good endurance athlete where he just holds a really fast pace. So then he started pushing at about 550, and he made a good lead. He made a body length on Bobby, and then a half body length on me. And then I saw that Bobby was dropping back. So then I was like, okay, I need to get side by side with Greg and stay a body length in front of Bobby going into the last 100 and then try build on it. And I think I had like a 1.1 and a bit body lengths on Bobby. And I was like, okay, we got this race won as soon as we get the body length. And then on the last turn, just did a straight, really fast turn, came off the wall straight up and went into my rhythm for my last 50. And then Bobby was catching, and then when I saw him catching, I went straight to up my rate, and then got my hand on the wall. And that was what was going through my head. It was just really about thinking about what the other people are doing and making sure that I'm in the right position to win the race.
Wow, that's interesting. So you're doing visual measurements while you're racing, while you're swimming. We're doing the same thing. We were like watching, and we're like, all right, he's got about a body length, maybe a little bit more. Is that enough? Can he catch? And so like we're doing these equations in our head, but you're basically doing the same thing then.
Yeah. I just because certain swimmers and what they're good at, and so like in my head, I know I need to. If I have a body length from Bobby, then he can't catch me. Or if I go level into the last turn with Greg, or even maybe a bit behind Greg, I know I can take him out in the last 50. So then these things that you need to set yourself up really well going into like certain parts of the race so that you know you can that you can win it. Otherwise, you're just kind of leaving it to risk, knowing that if I go level with Bobby, I mean, I probably could out sprint him, but I don't really want to leave it to that.
Wow, that's awesome. That's crazy. But I heard somewhere where you said basically with about 20 to go, you knew it was yours, like that. No one was catching you at that stage. So you're in your head, you kind of, yeah, I got this.
Yeah, yeah. I think I knew from 20 to go when I put my head down, I knew because he was still at my feet, so I was like, there's no chance I'm letting this go, basically. But
Mm,
I mean, nothing's ever certain, so until you touch the wall, you realise. But yeah, and then I also got the Olympic record in that race. I should really mention that one. But I mean, to be fair, I was trying to go to the Olympic record in the heats. It wasn't that fast. I feel like Tokyo, because of it being reversed, being heats in the evening, that the finals in the morning, that the heats was actually when the Olympic record was set. So then it was like the final wasn't as fast because I feel like it was in the morning swim. But
mm.
so I feel like the Olympic record was kind of going to come whoever won the race. So to me, it was no surprise to grab that one.
Wow, that's awesome, man. So, well, congrats. That's a huge history swim right there. How old are you now?
23, just turned 23 before the Olympics.
23 is young, man. One of my good friends, Grant Hackett, went on a run for about 7 years, I believe it was, where he wasn't beaten. That'd be pretty cool to kind of go on a run here and keep an unbeaten record in this 800 then for a while, huh?
Yeah, well, I'm unbeaten European short course. Obviously, I'm the fastest man alive on the 800 freestyle because I got Grant Hackett's world record in
Mm,
December. And then, I mean, I'd love to make it the long course one, but maybe next season, even though people think it's ridiculously hard and nobody's ever going to beat it, I don't know. I feel like nothing's ever impossible. So we'll try to get that one. I think that one would be unbelievable to hold. And then if you hold both of them, I think you rarely ever see people hold a world long course and short course record in the same event. So I mean that would be pretty cool. And yeah, I mean, you talking about Grant Hackett. I think he congratulated me again after the race, and he's obviously a massive swimming like idol
mm,
for me, being
yeah.
the great one. I think the greatest distance swimmer alive. Maybe people can argue and be saying Kieran Perkins or other stuff like that, but I think he is. So we'll have to wait.
Yeah. I love Kieran. Don't get me wrong. Grant's my favorite. Grant. I got to watch Grant, firsthand. I traveled the world with him for 6 years. I was very fortunate. So a lot of people say that I have no respect for distance runners, which could not be further from the truth. I just love sprinting. Right? There's no doubt about that. Everyone knows that. But distance runners are some of my best friends. Grant Hackett, one of my closest friends, and I'll tell you what, that man was just built tough. It's like you think of a car, like what's the toughest car you can think of where you could just beat it up and just thrash it and hammer it and it's just going to go and go and go. That's Grant Hackett. Grant Hackett was just tough, man. I saw him do some things I couldn't even imagine doing. I don't have the guts to do it. I don't have the whatever it is just not built in me. That man was tough. And so for you to come out and take one of his records, man, I bow down to you. You must be one tough SOB as well, man. So you got to be proud of that.
Yeah, we always say people say they don't like distance swimming, and then you see them. They turn up to the distance races at the Olympics, and then everybody says it's the 800 freestyle was one of the best races at the Olympics because
Yeah.
it's always going to be a good race in the distance events, especially right now when you've got like I think there's like 7 guys who all have like similar PBs within a second of each other, and it's always going to be a great race to watch because it always ends up either happening. There's going to be battles in the start, battles in the middle, and battles at the end. So you get like 3 races in one, and kind of. So it's always good to watch. And if you think about distance swimming, it's just who can sprint for the longest. That's what I would say.
Yeah. Oh, it's getting that way. I mean, all the races in the pool are getting that way. It's just who can sprint the furthest. Yeah, that's what it's coming down to. I want to touch on just the 1500 real quick again because obviously the world record was broken in that. It was an epic race. You got all three of you guys were in it again. But Bobby took it. How difficult is that world record? Do you think you've got something under that 1430 in the next couple of years? Is it I mean, look, it's a world record, so it's incredibly fast. But you're the guy. Like you guys are the guys that can get this thing. Is it beatable in the next couple of years to get under that 1430?
I think I'll be done next year. Uh,
Yeah.
maybe that's just me being a bit too confident, but I know I definitely think next year Singapore Worlds that's going down. I think it'll be brought sub 1430. There's a lot of guys to do it, and well, I'll hopefully be the one. But maybe even all medals will be under 14:30. I'd love to see that. That'd be crazy. But I mean, that world record before Bobby broke it was held for 12 years, and obviously, everybody thought it was amazing and really hard to beat. But I think it was eventually going to get beaten anyway by anybody in the field because everybody's been pushing it for so long and been getting so close. It's just that crazy last 100 speed. So you have to be like 3 seconds underneath the world record going into the last 100 to actually have a chance of breaking it. Which now we've got a great world record line where it's more on everybody else's pacing. So it's a more real. It's like a more visual, realistic if you're going to break it or not. But yeah, I think Bobby did a great job on breaking it and taking that record out of the books, which I'm sure everybody was appreciative of. But now it's just time to move it on even further.
How do you train? You can't train harder. You guys are training hard, so it obviously, to me, it seems like we're training smarter now. So like recovery has to be key for you guys, like you're pushing your body so hard. You have to then be able to recover to be able to come back and push again. So what are some of the shifts and changes you've made in recovery, let's say in the past couple of years, to help you become a better trainer?
Yeah, I think to be fair, a lot of it is to do with sleep, honestly. Like sleep is the biggest, like easiest way to get your recovery back. Like I think in terms of like nobody does anything special in terms of like I mean I will get out the swimming pool, I will do I don't know 2K, 3K swim down after the 800 and then I'll get in an ice bath for 2 minutes or and 2 minutes lower body and then I will put my arms and shoulders in for another minute after that and then maybe get a massage. But sometimes I don't even get a massage. It's like I'd say the bit, and then I'll go back and nap. And I honestly think the biggest attribute to recovery for me is just sleeping. And
Mm.
to be fair, you can take a lot of things to help you as well, like cherry juice. I don't know if
Hmm.
you ever heard of concentrated cherry juice. I take a sachet of that after every race because
Mm.
it's just easy. Like I don't know the benefits. There's some because cherry juice has natural melatonin in it. I think so that
Hmm.
helps you go to sleep. And that's like if any other swimmers are looking around looking at things to recover, I'd say that's like a great attribute is have a cherry juice sachet after your race, and it can do wonders, honestly. And then the sleep is the biggest part. I mean, like I think in between the 800 heat and 800 final, I would say that I napped for 3 hours after the heats. I slept for 10 hours in the evening, and then I went for my morning session, wake up in the 800, and then I went on nap for another 3 hours. So you're talking like I had, in terms of total sleep, I had 16 hours in between the heat and final. So it's like
Wow.
that's game changing in terms of like recovery, I would say. And you feel like a new
Mate,
man as well the next day.
no doubt. Mate, speaking of sleep, you got the bunk bed in the background there. When does the Olympic champ get to, upgrade to a full queen size bed?
To be fair, it's a double bunk bed, but I've just had this since I was a child. So me and my twin obviously used to share a room when we were younger, but now he's in a different room in the house now. So I just can't be asked getting rid of the bed, honestly. I mean, maybe eventually I'll upgrade, but I don't live here. I'm only really back in Ireland like 2 weeks of the year, so I don't think it really matters
Mhm.
that much. But yeah,
Are you top or bottom?
yeah, on the bottom bunk, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Okay. And you got a boomerang back there. What's going on back there?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just from different places I've visited around the world. I think it's actually from Spain, which is kind of crazy because it's Australian. But yeah, I actually love to go to Australia. I talked to all the Australian coaches like Dean Boxall and Richard Scarce, and I mean, I'd love to do a
Mm.
training camp over there at some point. But honestly, like I can't deal with hot weather training. Like as soon as it goes above 40 degrees and you train outside, maybe it's the same for everyone, but it absolutely kills me.
Well, if you're doing that kind of work at that kind of pace, I'd imagine you want to keep it cool around you. But yeah, I like a little sunshine, mate. Yeah, but below 40, no way.
Yeah.
But in terms of getting some heat, you got a holiday coming up, well-deserved holiday. You going to Bali for a month?
Yeah, for a month, yeah.
Wow, that's
No
awesome. How'd you
sunroom.
figure out Bali? Why Bali?
Uh, to be fair, I think it's just been the craze at the moment going to Bali, and I was just like normally I only get a week off in the summer, which is kind of crazy for the whole like since the last Olympics. I mean, I actually should really talk about that maybe, that everybody talks about this Olympic cycle and like they have like a step-by-step plan, and we had the same thing from Tokyo. So first year I joined Loughborough University was in 2020 September. So then that was the year when the Olympics got postponed. So it got postponed to 2021 summer. So then our year, when I joined, me and Andy sat down. We were like, oh yeah, we need to we set up a plan. It's like, do you want to make the Olympics or do you want to improve your technique and then be a better swimmer in the longer term? And I was just like, let's do both. And he was like, okay, well, we've never done that before, but we'll try it. So we made the Olympics. My technique was still pretty bad. And then we just evolved that over the years. And the next year we wanted to make a world championship final. So we did that in Budapest. And then we also had the com games. So then I was like, oh, we should try medal in that. We got a silver. I really wanted to win that race, but didn't go to my way. So we've got silver. And the next year in 2023, we're like, we need to get on the podium. I got 2 4th places, so didn't really go to plan. But then in December, we broke the world record. Then we won 2 world titles in the January, just passed. And then obviously won the Olympics. So everybody has that step-by-step plan. And then I think in October, we'll be thinking about what's our next step-by-step plan. I mean, we pretty much won everything there. So maybe it's to win more, but we'll have to wait and see. But and then sorry, I completely bypassed why I'm going to Bali. I said about the trend, and I think it's just cool because I want to learn how to surf, and I feel like that's quite a good place. And a lot of my friends said, let's just go to Bali.
Well, listen, I have my best friend lives in Bali, Michael Klim. I went out there last June and visited him. Do you know Michael Klim at all?
I've heard of his name.
Yeah, so Olympic champ. He was part of the 4x1 team that beat the US in 2000. That great relay that won then. But Michael's former world record holder, 100 butterfly, 100 freestyle. So he lives out in Bali. So I'll get you guys connected. I'll send you his contact. But he's definitely one you want to reach out to in Bali. He's the man connected. He's hooked up, and it'd be good for you guys to catch up out there. But yeah, so. That's awesome. Well, good for you, man. Well, listen, I'm glad we got to chat. I'll tell you this, you inspired me because I did text you and I said, we're going to have to cancel this thing. And you said, you're going on holiday. I said, no, we're not canceling. So my son, during this interview here, my son actually, that's my dog screaming there. My son brought me some pain medicine. I actually threw my back out about 10 minutes before this interview and I had to crawl up here. So my son went to CVS, got me some back medicine. But I was inspired by you. I was like, if I'm going to talk to a distance swimmer who's tough as hell, I'm crawling off this floor. I don't care if you threw your back out. Get up there and do this podcast. So, mate, you inspired me to knock this one out.
Yeah, thanks. What was your favorite event to watch at the Olympics?
Listen, they were all good. One that sticks out in memory is the 100 breast. You know, like I'm not a breaststroker, but that one, you know, just watching Adam Peaty and then Marganetti, you know, just the whole field. I mean, it coming down to like basically 8 guys across the pool coming down to a hand touch. I mean, that was a wild race, but there was a lot of really good races, right? Like, you know, the 800 is a memorable one. Obviously, Bobby's 1500 and the way he attacked that, very memorable. Ledecky winning, you know, I mean, the women's races was
the men's.
Epic races. What was yours?
200 fly men's when Leon made a crazy last 50. That was mine.
That 200 fly as well, yeah. I mean, it seemed that way. Like a lot of races, there was like a leader and then someone would swim over the top or something like that. Or, you know, someone might just hang on for a touch or something. But it just seemed like there was good racing, right? Like, did you get that feeling? It was just great racing?
Yeah, it was great. I actually don't normally get to watch a lot of competitions, being a lot of events, being across the whole like from start to finish really of the racing schedule, but I got to watch quite a couple in person because I had an extra day in between the normal world championships. So I got to watch a lot. Got to watch the 50 freestyle. It was great. I love that. Oh, I love that race. I think I loved it more for the crowd. I think the crowd loved that race the most because of Maladu being in the outside lane and he was giving it all to the crowd. And I think that was kind of good. And I love the way they chant the French names. So I think any race for a French person was also great.
Yeah, I tried to avoid saying the 53. I mean, obviously it's one of my favorite races, right? But trying to give some other races out there. But no, like I enjoyed the whole Olympics. I thought they were very competitive. You know what was one of the funniest things I saw was your interview after the open water, mate, where you come out and you're like, "No, I'm done. That's it." Are you being serious, or are you going to compete again in that?
No, to be fair, I don't want to. I never done it. I've never done open water before, and I was just like, "Oh, it's a bit of fun. Maybe I
Mm.
have a chance, but we'll see." But then I was like, I was hearing stories of people are going to try to target me off the start of the race, so it was kind of putting me off. Because obviously, like, I'm an unknown threat because I've never done it before, but I'm good in the pool. And I just got when I got punched off the face at the start of the race, it kind of just like I don't want to do this anyway. And I'm already Olympic champion in this Olympics, and I'm sitting here coming 18th. Was not that fun, but no, I thought, yeah, everybody talks about my interview. They always say how they said a lot of them actually. I'm just quite like a real person. And they said I just say what
Mm.
everybody else feels like they'd say after the open water. But yeah, I mean, it was funny. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
So there's a chance you'll do another one, maybe.
Yeah, never say never, I think. But I will, people come out of retirement all the time. So
Yeah, those open waters are brutal, man. It's like a game of water polo. It's not what you
yeah,
see above the water; it's what's going on below the water as well. And it's brutal, but yeah, that's a long one. That's a tough one. But listen, man. Well, thanks for doing this. Enjoy your break. Congratulations on this Irish gold medal, man. Massive for the country. You're going to be a superstar for many, many years. I hope you get to live off that. I hope they give you free meals everywhere you go out there now. But yeah, I hope you win more in the future, mate. You're fun to watch.
yeah. Thank you very much. And yeah, it's great. I also liked it because we're part of the YouTube swimming thing. We need more people with YouTube channels in swimming.
Yeah, yeah. And so tell people where they can find you here.
Oh yeah, Wiffen twins post weekly vlogs. A lot of the Olympic stuff's coming out now as well on my channel because I didn't get to post it because I was racing so much, but I filmed quite a bit, so a lot of
Right.
that's coming out now.
Cool. Good for you, mate. Well, congrats. I hope that blows up too, and you keep winning, mate. So enjoy your holiday. All right.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Cheers, bud. Bye.